No Time to Die, a review. Where to begin? There was sort of an expectation that formed in my head on how this new Bond film would be, how Craig's last Bond film would be. I had some wishes. First and foremost, I had the wish that they would deliver a clean, action-packed story that would sort of smooth over the few mistakes from Spectre, especially the final act of Spectre, which was not satisfying at all. And I must say I didn't particularly enjoy the last two Bond films. Skyfall was a bit better. It's still higher up in my list of the Daniel Craig Bond films, but I was missing out on really a lot that I wanted to see and that I expected to see from the version of Bond that is in my head. So along comes No Time to Die. I was pretty convinced for sort of mid-production, after the villain was announced. Yeah, I put out the thought that it could be Dr. No. Rami Malek said it isn't Dr. No. Cary Fukunaga said it isn't Dr. No. And it isn't Dr. No. But I got the feeling that they want to achieve something specific with that film, that they wanted to tell a story that had never been told before in the way it was told. And that's exactly what I got in the cinema. On the first screening that I saw, it was the 30th of September, and it was the original English version, not the German version, as I live in Germany, as many of you might know. But I always prefer to see these films in English. I just take away more from that. And I must say it starts really strong. It starts really, really strong. There is a tension that is building right from the start, and with 25 minutes, this is the longest opening sequence any Bond film had. Previously it was The World Is Not Enough that held that record. But No Time to Die spends about 25 minutes going from the logos until the main title sequence, and I thought these 25 minutes were very, very well done. Especially, and this is my highlight of the film, is the Matera car chase. Partly it has to do with technicalities. So the cinematography by Linus Sandgren on the city of Matera is just bloody fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. The city looks fantastic. The Aston Martin DB5 fits into this ancient city like nothing else, and you get that classic spy film vibe from cities like this, and the action is very well balanced. Of course, they start right in the beginning to connect the story of No Time to Die to the previous Craig Bond films, and whether you're okay with that or not is each and everyone's decision. I always say each and every Bond fan on the globe, wherever you may be, and there are millions of us, we perceive these films in a different way. Everybody takes something different from a film. Everybody expects something different from these films. And certainly the people who grew up with Daniel Craig, the younger generation, where Daniel Craig is their first James Bond, they will take away a lot from this film. They will see it as a really good conclusion of his tenure as James Bond. But I've grown up with Pierce Brosnan myself, so I know a different kind of structure of these films. For me, a Bond film was always Bond gets a job, Bond goes on the hunt for the villain, he exposes his plan and he foils his plan. happy end or not. He gets the girl, something like that. But it was always fairly close to the original formula. Of course, it's undisputed. All the Bond films, the Brosnan ones and the Craig ones, they have weak points. And the Achilles heel, I've said that all along, the Achilles heel of the Bond films has always been the writing. Maybe you don't often find that in the older ones. Sure, you find plot holes and whatever you want to find, you will find it. It is there. But when the producers and the cast sit down in front of television cameras and produce their press kits and do interviews for the film to promote it, I have been hearing the same stories for more than 15 years now. Actually, it started with The World Is Not Enough, where they said, we want to have more character development, more depth to the characters and the stories. Strong characters here, strong characters there. And it's the same with No Time to Die. The actresses Ana de Armas and Lashana Lynch spoke of strong female characters in No Time to Die. And I thought, oh wow, okay, haven't heard that one before. But I was willing to give it another shot. I really hoped that it would work this time, because I really do appreciate the work of Cary Joji Fukunaga as the director, who also had a hand in the screenplay, as well as Phoebe Waller-Bridge that they brought on board, and Neil Purvis and Robert Wade. So sometimes you can say too many cooks, spoil the food. But then I sat in the cinema and I saw Ana de Armas portraying Paloma in the Cuba scenes, and it's fun. One fan on the internet, I don't know if it was Facebook or Twitter, wrote strong female characters, and Ana de Armas' character comes across as somebody who is auditioning for a Marilyn Monroe biopic. And yesterday I saw the film again, and I thought, wow, that is on point. That is absolutely on point. They speak of strong female characters ahead of the film, and what I see is a character who is excessively flat, and she comes across as really silly and dumb, I'm sorry to say. Ana de Armas is a good actress. She's a really good actress. But I think her name and her talent was a tiny bit wasted in No Time to Die. It was not so much that the scenes she was put in were bad. The script for that was bad. Well, the script was bad in terms of dialogue. The dialogue she was given was not good. I didn't like it at all. I would have liked her much stronger and more experienced as the character she's portraying. So I found it laughable. I found it laughable at the first viewing, and also yesterday at the second viewing. And well, yeah, then the story plays out over the film, which is very long. It's 163 minutes. So it's difficult to sit through this one without a pause. And actually yesterday I went to the loo in between during the main titles. Again, expertly designed by Daniel Kleinman. References to Dr. No in there. But not as impressive as I found Skyfall or Casino Royale or the others. So it didn't impress me much. Sorry to say. It really pains me to say negative things, because actually I don't want to. I wanted to appreciate that film. I tried it yesterday. I tried to find good things at the second viewing. I found a few, yes. It is not a bad film. Don't get me wrong. It is not a bad film. It is maybe, considering the first and second viewing, not a bad Bond film. But it does not have the story I want to see. And I can't give you more, keeping this spoiler free, because our friends in the US and Australia and some other territories haven't seen the film yet. But there are certain elements in there that downgrade what the character of Bond has always been, and that was not to my liking, not at all. This was not the hero I wanted to see. Maybe I have a strange projection of what I want Bond to be as a person. as the secret agent he is. Now, the trickiest thing of this review is to speak about the ending, which I won't do in great detail. I'm just going to tell you my feelings that I had at the first viewing. I was shocked, I was devastated, and I didn't like it. After the screening, sort of a few hours after that, I wrote my review for the Bond Bulletin, and I got angrier and angrier and angrier. This feeling died down, and yesterday I saw it for the second time, and I found that the feeling has not changed. The ending is still, the whole final act, and the finale is quite long, is a problem for me. I don't like it. I think it is not the ending that Daniel Craig deserved, although he picked it himself. He had a big say in how the film was made and how the story unfolded. But I think it is just not worthy of the character and of the 15 years that Daniel Craig has devoted to this role. Well, pushing the ending aside, for those who haven't seen it, it's really no use talking about it because it would spoil it a great deal for you. So I will go back to speak about different things. The storytelling, for instance, the individual plot points that were designed to tie up loose ends of Spectre and Skyfall. The story arc is continuing. We knew that was coming, but there are certain elements in there, certain plot points, certain elements that I didn't like. I thought they were not Bond typical, although what has been Bond typical in the last 15 years in the development of James Bond's character as the person he is, we saw a much more layered portrayal of Bond. We saw that he is a person who has problems, who has scars from battle, from emotion, hurt and loss. The question is, do I want to see that? And this is a question many Bond fans have asked themselves and others in discussion. It often comes up in discussion. And I've read a lot of comments online saying exactly that about the release of No Time to Die. Seeing Bond in love with a woman in that way, Bond and Madeline, which started in Spectre, and some of us didn't find that believable. I think they have too little chemistry on screen to make that love story 100% believable. I can't put that in numbers, but it was sort of like 40%. At the maximum, it was 45% that I believed that they are actually in love and that there is some true feeling in there and hurt. It just didn't transpire from the screen to me. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm emotionless, which I'm not. Many people can attest to that. But looking at Daniel Craig's tenure, to put No Time to Die in its place, to put it in perspective with the rest, looking at Spectre and Skyfall respectively, I increasingly had a problem in the cinema because I came out of the film thinking, what did I just see? It's okay for a character to develop. Absolutely, I have no problem with that. But you have to be really, really careful, in my opinion. If you have an iconic cinematic character, changing the whole formula, rocking the base in which this formula is rooted, is, I think, a step in the wrong direction. And maybe with No Time to Die, they did a bit too much of that. So it rocks your foundation of what you believe Bond to be, of what you want Bond to be. And I've spoken to a lot of people, and we discussed so many aspects of what No Time to Die does with you as a Bond fan. And it almost always comes down to I want to go in the cinema. I want 2 hours of escapism. I want to have fun. I want to be entertained. And after that, I want to have a feeling of having seen something really great, of having witnessed greatness, perfection, from stunts to music to storytelling, and just tell everyone about it. Tell everyone how great that film is and go back the next day to see it again, because it is a fantastic film. But now, having released my review, people comment on it and say, you have to see it a second time, you have to see it a third time, you have to let it breathe. It will be totally different on the second viewing. And I ask myself, why? Why do I have to do that? Why do I have to let a film breathe like wine just for me to have a better perception of it? It's not that I'm stupid. It's not that I don't understand what they are trying to tell me. No, not at all. But do I want to be told that kind of story? Do I want to be lectured about hurt and loss and feeling and emotion and sacrifice? I don't know. It is something I decide for myself. But Bond has always been escapism. I went to the cinema, I had fun, I was entertained, and I was like a little kid when I came out of the cinema. And I did not need a second viewing. Films like Tomorrow Never Dies, The World Is Not Enough, even Die Another Day, which was over the top and all over the place, and full of weaknesses and plot holes. But I had massive fun. It was so much fun, and I went back the next day just because it was so much fun. But No Time to Die drags me down. The second viewing yesterday, I was really anxious to go for a second time, knowing how long it is and knowing the end of it. And I thought, okay. And I said to my mates who were accompanying me, I said, well, you're in for a ride. General comment without spoiling anything. You're in for a ride. That was everything I could master. But I really expected something different. And maybe I'm old-fashioned. Maybe I'm now exactly that kind of guy, and that's interesting, that people of the Brosnan era complain about. Some of them constantly complain about the fans that are stuck in Connery's age, who would prefer Bond being still Sean Connery, which of course isn't possible. It was a totally different era. Many, many years ago, many decades ago. And I think now I will be labeled as one of the people who would rather prefer a Brosnan Bond. Yeah, the old Brosnan lover. But I'm sorry, I have to say it as it is. I like these films better. I like Brosnan's era better because I had fun. Constant fun was delivered to me. Entertainment. I didn't need to make my mind up about anything. I didn't need to think about the deeper meaning of things. The plots weren't overly complicated. In fact, they were rather easy. And with No Time to Die, I don't even know what the plan of the villain is. I mean, it's explained to you, but you don't know anything about the motivation. I'm left completely in the dark what his motivation is for his ultimate plan. And I don't know. That is something that is just missing. And I think it is wrong to have such a loose product. I don't know. And this is turning into a rant without me wanting it to be like that. Because I still love Bond. I love the franchise and probably won't stop loving it. Even if it stopped. I mean, you have all the films to go back on. But I wouldn't say I feel betrayed, but I feel hurt as a fan. It's just my opinion and I can't change it. Everybody is entitled to an opinion. If you like the film, if you love it, great. I'm really, really happy for you. As I said, it is not a bad film. It is not even a bad Bond film. But the things I take away from it are not the things that I want to take away from it. And it's not the fault of the producers that we had a pandemic. Absolutely not. I have to say that before I say what I say next. But for me personally, coming out of a pandemic where you isolated yourself, you practiced social distancing, certain freedoms were taken away from you, you worked from home 5 days a week, you were alone most of the time with just seeing a few friends here and there, very little social contact, the internet as the main communication medium and work medium, and you wait for a film that is finished, it's postponed 6 times, and you are hyped with every rollout of every marketing campaign. You are so hyped and you want this, and then you come out of a pandemic and you think, oh, finally I can go back to the cinema again and see Bond like in the old days. And then you get No Time to Die, with the end that it has. And my feeling is I got kicked in the face. And I can't change it. Like Bond, believe it or not, I'm a person with feelings. Yeah. And I transport that to you. I transport my feelings to you. That's what I feel about the film. That's what they do with Bond. They transport Bond's feelings. And we have to watch it. And if you clicked on this video, this is my emotion that you have to watch. It's your decision if you like it or not. It's our decision if we like this Bond film or not. But it's difficult. It's difficult. I can't rank it. I certainly can't rank it. I never rank the Bond films, by the way, because I think nothing of rankings. I hate favoritism. I don't rank the Bond actors. I don't rank the films because I like all of them, no matter how many plot holes they have or how weak the characters are sometimes or how stupid the one-liners. There is one really, really stupid one-liner in No Time to Die, and I laughed about it because I liked it. I actually liked it because maybe I like stupid things. I don't know. Maybe I like that stupidness, the craziness of the Bond films. Yeah, that's it. I don't know if this makes you see the film or if it makes you return your ticket immediately. I don't know. Our friends in the US haven't seen it yet. But please, go and see it. Go and see it. It is really worth it for the experience. And you have to form the opinion yourself. It's like voting in an election. It's that simple. You have to go out and do it. And you have to have your own opinion. And nobody can take that away from you. Of course, people can disagree. Sure, they have the right to their opinion as well. But go and see it. And maybe after November 11th, when the Australians have it in the cinema, we can have a live stream with comments from people who want to join in and talk about the film and what we liked and what we didn't like. But we need to go into a spoiler-safe zone somehow, where it is really safe, because it would ruin cinema experience for everyone. But yeah, just go out and see it. Thank you very much, Benjamin, in for the Bond Bulletin. Bye bye.